Despite pregame trash talk, injuries, and double overtime, Colorado Boulder beat their rival Colorado State University. In this video, we're going to look at the mindset behind how they did it. My name is Bryce and I am a mental performance coach. A great way to know what an athlete was thinking before and during the game is through their interviews. So I watched every pregame and postgame interview of every Colorado player and coach, and here's what I found. Going into the game, the Colorado State coach took a jab at Deion Sanders.
When I talk to grown-ups, I take my hat and my glasses off. That's what my mother taught me.
When they give us ammunition, they done messed around and made it what? It was just gonna be a good game, but they done messed around and made it personal.
And just like last game, Deion Sanders told his team it's personal. And we know how that game turned out. If you don't know, I made a video about it which you can check out here. He even gave the entire team sunglasses to troll the other coach. The pregame trash talk led to an altercation between both teams during warm-up. This is how you know it was going to be an intense game. I don't know how it started, but I don't think something like this is helpful. The best players on the team, Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders, shouldn't be trash talking and trying to start a fight before the game. Trash talking during the game is fine because you can actually do something about it with how you play, instead of just starting a fight. But either way, the issue with trash talking is it gives the other team extra motivation to beat you. And if they can't beat you, they'll make it ugly, which Colorado found out as it was a very dirty and violent game, including a brutal foul that sent Travis Hunter to the hospital. It was a terrible play by the opponent, and I hope Travis gets better soon. But since Travis was one of the main players talking trash to the other team during pregame, that could have played a factor.
Oh my God! Hey, Smoke!
Of course, that doesn't give the opponent the right to do what he did, but that's why it's always good to remain respectful. In the last 2 minutes, Colorado was losing the game. They were at the 2-yard line and needed to score a touchdown to tie the game. Keep in mind, this was during a sold-out home game against a team who'd insulted your coach and hurt your players. Yet Shedeur Sanders executed incredibly under pressure and went on to score the needed touchdown. How did he perform so well under pressure?
Well, we do it in practice all the time, so it's not really a shocking or a surprise.
He said they work on pressure situations in practice. This is a great way to learn how to deal with pressure. Don't wait until the pressure situation happens in the game to try to get better at performing under pressure. You need to be actively working on how to deal with pressure in practice. This means invite a crowd to watch you perform a drill, give yourself a time limit to complete the drill, or give yourself a reward or punishment if you don't complete or complete the drill. By doing this over and over, soon you'll be desensitized to the nerves of pressure and be able to execute game-winning plays just like you do in practice.
The touchdowns were self-inflicted.
It'd be easy to blame the refs or give some type of excuse to why the other team scored so many points against them. But they took responsibility for the mistakes they made. By doing this, now they can adequately assess what they did wrong and make adjustments and improvements. If they just complained and made excuses and moved on, they would have learned nothing from the game.
I like to perform under pressure. I want to be that guy.
This is their kicker who made multiple clutch field goals. Notice how he said he wanted to be in those pressure situations. This is the other part of how to deal with pressure. After you practice and learn how to deal with it, you may find out that you perform even better under pressure. If you ever wondered why some players perform even better under pressure while other players don't, and maybe that's you, there's a reason. If I said there's a game-winning shot on the line and you have to take it, what's going on in your mind? There's only 2 outcomes, so which one are you thinking of? If you're thinking of what will happen if you miss a shot and lose, that's going to fill you with fear and anxiety, and you're going to perform worse and likely miss the shot. If you're thinking about what will happen if you make it and win, what it'll feel like, what it'll mean for your team, how fun the celebration will be, you're going to be excited and perform even better and likely make the shot. And that's the mindset that this kicker has. He wants to be in pressure situations because he performs better, which will allow him to likely achieve his desired outcome in the end.
My original kicking cleats kind of broke in the warm-up. I had to wear the ones that I wore last season. And these cleats did not miss last season. The magical cleats.
Then the kicker talks about how he was wearing cleats that he hadn't missed in, and that gave him confidence. Superstitions like these are a simple way to build your confidence, because even if you logically know that they don't make a difference, mentally it gives you peace of mind and that extra bit of belief to help you execute. The only problem with superstitions is that if they don't work, for example, if he misses in these cleats, does he get rid of them and get new ones? Or if you have lucky socks and lose them and aren't able to wear them in the game, this can have the opposite effect and lower your confidence. So I'd say don't rely on them, but in the moment, there's no harm in telling yourself a story to give yourself the confidence and belief necessary to play your best.
We have no choice. We gotta win, and it feels like that all the time.
Now this approach is hit or miss. You just have to know the team and the players that you have. Some players, when you put them against the wall, will crumble because they fear more of what will happen if they lose. But great teams are able to take all the pressure and expectation and play better. It seems like this Colorado team is made up of players who want to play in big moments and get motivated under pressure. And that's why Coach Prime puts that pressure on them each game and makes sure that they're aware of the occasion. However, for players who aren't the best under pressure and don't want to think about how momentous the game is, this approach could be detrimental. So if you're a coach or a leader on the team, you just have to know what team and players you have so you can figure out what will actually motivate them.
Be accountable for your side side of the ball, be accountable for offense.
The only way a team can play its best is if each member of the team plays their role. If each member of the team is accountable and takes responsibility for doing their job, you won't have a problem. You shouldn't have to get on a teammate or worry about if a teammate is doing what they're supposed to be doing, if each member is holding themselves accountable. Of course, at times you do need the leader of the team to hold the team accountable, but if each member of the team takes ownership of their role and fulfills it to the best of their ability, the team will function like a well-oiled machine.
Look at the film, figure out what we keep doing wrong and what's the solution.
I liked how he mentioned finding the solution. Players and coaches with a loser's mindset focus on the problem, while winners focus on the solution. Let me give you an example. If you're a coach and a player makes a mistake, what do you say to him? You can either scream at him, point fingers, and say, "What are you doing?" Which is unfortunately what a lot of coaches do. If you're an athlete, you've either had a coach or at least seen a coach do this often. But what does that do? What does that solve? Or you could give him pointers and tell him what he could have done better. Now he'll be able to fix the problem. So for Shadir and Coach Prime, they're not going to watch film and harp on the problems repeatedly and get more frustrated in the process. They're going to look at their mistakes and calmly figure out a solution. And I bet the next game, these major issues will be fixed.
We probably won't have any more close games like this.
I like the confidence, but remember, always stay humble and respect your opponent. The moment you doubt your opponent is the moment they'll surprise you.
This is bad. That was really the main thing coming out of halftime.
You have to be honest with yourself and evaluate where you could be better. This is where positivity doesn't really help. If the team was playing bad and at halftime everyone just told each other good job and said the next half would be better, nothing would be fixed and they'd play just as bad, if not worse, the next half. But negativity wouldn't help either. If he just insulted his teammates with no advice given, it'd just deflate their confidence. Instead, Shadir engaged in something called neutral thinking. It's being honest about a situation and detaching emotion to figure out how to fix it. Shadir was honest with himself and his team, and he and Coach Prime probably gave the team actionable steps to figure out how to fix their problem. And that's why the team was able to play better the next half.
It seemed like maybe caught up in the hype.
It's not really like that deep. It's a game.
From the outside looking in, these games for Colorado are huge. I watched one of the Colorado vlogs, and NFL Hall of Famer Terrell Owens said Boulder was the biggest, hottest city in the world right now. And it may look like that, and it may even be, but playing into the hype is a surefire way to lose your head and not execute the task at hand. Even though the season will likely be a movie in the upcoming years, I think Amazon Prime is already coming out with a documentary about the season. The players are treating each game like it is, just a game. And if it does turn out to be some historic event, there's no way you'll play your best if you go into each game thinking it's historic and making such a big deal out of it. If you did, you'd play super tense and overthink everything. Even if it's the Super Bowl, you have to treat it as just another game, because that's how you'll perform your best, by being relaxed and having fun.
At the end of the day, we got to keep winning. If we stop winning and all this stuff goes away.
Shadir is so wise, man. I was thinking when Colorado was losing early in the game, that if they lose, all the hype dies down, because then they're just a regular team that's not invincible. It's good that he has this understanding, because it'll help him not get too high on his horse, not to feed into the hype or drink the Kool-Aid, because that'll kill you. I mean, they're a college team who just had Lil Wayne walk them out. I don't know how they don't have a big head, but if they soak up all the hype and think all these celebrities and excitement is just because they're cool people, it'll be a cold day when they lose and they realize that the hype train moved on to another team, probably the team that they lost to. This is why you should never get too high or too low. If you think you're the talk of the town today, stay humble because it could be gone tomorrow. And if you play terribly today, stay optimistic because there's always tomorrow and you'll get another chance.
We don't really have a chance to really enjoy it how everybody else that's not suiting up every day gets to.
This is a difficult philosophical question. Can you fully enjoy an experience while still maintaining the necessary focus to perform? I'm not sure. You'd think that them having this much hype as a college student would be the craziest time in the world. And they're having fun, no doubt. But they also have to put their head down and work, and not indulge in all the fan excitement, or they'll wake up from their dream real quick. I think you can enjoy the game, but you can't get too caught up in the distractions and everything surrounding the game. Take Johnny Manziel, for example. He was the most popular athlete in the world as a college student, but he fed into the hype by partying and taking in all the compliments. And he turned out to be one of the biggest draft busts in NFL history. I'd say enjoy it as much as you can, but you'll only really appreciate it and understand the impact that you made after the fact, because that's just how life works.
Of course it's personal, but when you get in between those lines, then it's football. Dang,
Shadir just ruined Coach Prime's new catchphrase. Because it's true. Although something may be personal, you have to kind of remove emotions when you perform. You can't perform your best if you're super angry, or super sad, or even super happy. To play your best, you have to stay level-headed, or as they say, get in the zone. You're just completely immersed in the present and focus on executing each play to the best of your ability.
When they did that to Travis, nah, they really out here tripping for real, like overly tripping.
When you act on emotion, then you make irrational decisions and make dirty plays like the one that sent Travis Hunter to the hospital. That player probably should have got ejected, and that would have meant he wouldn't have been able to play the rest of the game, could have had to sit out a few more games, and sent a player to the hospital. I don't think that's what he wanted. But when you're angry and just acting out of anger, that's what'll happen. And you won't realize the negative effects of what you did until the anger subsides.
To be great, you're going to have to be resilient. That was a tremendous amount of adversity, and we overcame it.
Resilience. I like that word. It's actually a chapter in my book, which is linked down below. Dealing with failure and challenges is a huge component of what makes a winner.
And I'm happy that they fought, that they played a good game. I'm happy he's a head coach. My blessings ain't got nothing to do with his blessings.
If you want to be great, you have have to be happy for others. Being jealous or wishing ill will upon your opponent is putting all your focus on them rather than how you can get better. And it's always good to remain respectful and maintain good sportsmanship, because guess what? They're gonna have to play them again next year. So you don't want to disrespect them and give them any more of an incentive to beat you or make it dirty the next game. Respect your opponent to play your best against them. Deion Sanders was right. Others doing well shouldn't negatively affect how you do at all. In fact, it should inspire and motivate you to see others do well. If it doesn't and you get jealous, then you'll be so focused on them that you don't better yourself. You should always want your opponent to play as good as possible, because that'll push you to be at your best. But that's why I think they won. Why do you think they won?